go. Okay. Hi, everybody. Okay, so we're in the middle of adultery, right? I hope it loads again. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So we're up to page 6. So let's do this here. Introduction. Not only do we run the risk of mistakenly idolizing powers and concepts we have no control over that are greater than ourselves, we're even prone to aggrandizing ourselves in ways that approach idolatry. So how do we do this? So look at the first source over here. That Moshe says to the people, perhaps you will eat and be satisfied and build stately houses and dwell in them, and you will think, my strength and my might, koichi va'otzim yadi, have accumulated this wealth for me. But you must remember, says Moshe, that the Lord your God, for it is He that gives you strength to make wealth, in order to establish His covenant, which He swore to your forefathers, as it is this day. So it doesn't say that God made the houses and the wealth for you. It says, Hu hanosein lecha koyach. He's the one that gave you the abilities, that gave you the power. 2, this is in Ecclesiastes, Koheles, I further observed under the sun that the race is not won by the swift, nor the battle by the valiant, nor is bread won by the wise, nor wealth by the intelligent, nor favor by the learned, for the time of mischance comes to all. And the Hebrew there could be translated ki ace or fega yikra et hakol, because time, we are all a product of time, or fega is like it is a mischance. Yikra es kulam, happens to everyone. Number 3 is and I think, sorry, I think the point of number 2 is that, people are fixated about who wins the race and who is valiant and who has bread and who has wealth and who's intelligent, and everyone is, coming up with the next best theory about all these things. Koheles, I think, is really telling us that that's not, there's no foolproof system, right? If you read this book, you're going to become the next best, greatest, whatever it is. Okay, Rav Yisrael Salanta, so source 3. And there are matters whose truth, in the absence of proof, is only found through clear judgment, right? There are many things in this world. If someone is beautiful, if someone, right? There's no absolute. You need, right? There's no proof, there's judgment. And in these matters, politics, right? What's the best policy? And in these matters, everyone prides themselves by saying, I am the one who can see. To me has been revealed hidden insight. Ani haro'eh, alai niglu ta'alumis kochma. So this, all of these are sources which really speak to the ability that we have to live life and to try to survive, try to be successful, and think that we've got it, right? That we've got the power. And in a way, this does usurp God's um, God's role in our lives. So let's look at the questions here. What are the tensions between gratitude to God, self-agency, and self-reliance? How do you measure? How do you know what's the correct? Okay, so you're not meant to think it's just up to you and you can do it, right? But what is the correct balance? You can't sit back either and just say, "Hey, God's going to take care of everything." How can we cultivate the sense of gratitude for our blessings and achievements in life? Obviously, that's an important part. And what is the specific challenge to our awareness of God due to our increasing ability to customize our lives around our needs and wants? You know, it used to be, you needed water. You had to pray to God that it rained. Now you turn on the tap. You needed refuah, you were sick, now you go to the doctor, he gives you medicine. So, are we, as we become, as a species, more developed, as we evolve, and our control and ability to use this world to our needs increases, there seems to be a specific challenge. How can we overcome that? Yes, any comments? Hello? Any comments?
No comment.
No comment.
Listening.
When people speak, I think it's a very, very important, what should I say? I wouldn't say balance, but perspective that we need to get some clarity on. And that is, okay, what is the role of God in our life? And if we got that clear, we would, I think, find a lot more maybe peace, making peace with God, making peace with other people. What is the correct balance? Do we do it all? Does God do it all? Is there a partnership? Maybe a partnership is the best way to look at it. Let's look at the next. Hang on a second.
But Rabbi, doesn't the parable about the man who was caught in a storm and God sent the signs, it's the warning signs while driving, and then he sent the lifeboat and then the Navy and everything else.
Right, of course.
I mean, sorry, your
there we
WhatsApp
go.
came there. I thought it was mine.
I know. I'm on my phone. Yeah, look at this, Greg. Greg, look. Yes. Introduction, Hashem and Co. The joke is told of a man who died in a flood after refusing all help because he was waiting for God to save him. He arrives in heaven and asks God why he didn't save him. God responds, I sent you a fire truck, then a canoe, and even a helicopter. What more do you want from me?
Correct, there we go. That's it. That's the parable, yes.
So we have explored above that God is the strongest power and highest authority. But that doesn't mean that there aren't other powers. How do we relate to other powers? And those include our own. So let's look at the text here. Source 1 is a Gemara in Nida. What should a person do in order to become wealthy? Maya Adam is Asher. So here Rabbi Yeshua said, do business in good faith. Go do business, work, do a lot of it. The Alexandrians said, many have done so, yet it did not work, right? Many people get up early in the morning and work very hard all day, and they never seem to amass much wealth. He said he should request wealth from its owner, meaning God. Like it says, to me is silver, to me is gold. So then the Gemara says, why then did he say to go and do business if you got to pray? To teach you that one without the other will not work.
But doesn't that come to defining what is wealth? Or are they
No, I
going to
think
financial wealth
they
here?
meant financial. They meant to go work and to make money. But I think the answer from this Gemara is that there's a partnership here, right? Meaning we have to do our part. We have to try our best, put in all our effort in the most sensible way possible, and then we have to we have to acknowledge that whatever we do will only be successful if God wills, right? God willing, Be'ezrat Hashem.
Can I ask you a question then? How come then the Rabbanites can allow the syndicate to operate at the kotel then?
What?
I'm referring to the frum Jews that walk around asking for money all the time. Or the frum portrayed Jews.
Yeah. Meaning, why don't they go get a job?
Correct.
When someone falls into destitution and needs to beg, well, first, the cynical answer is, what do you mean? That is their job.
I'm not talking about the genuine people who do it because they've got nothing else. I'm talking about the ones that their attitude is Hashem will provide, and they don't work because Hashem will provide.
So then, why are they asking you for money? Why don't
Correct.
they just
That's what I'm asking.
Why don't they just sit at home and wait for money to come to them? Because they don't really believe that. They don't really believe that. They can say Hashem will provide, but they've reduced themselves to begging, which is not, Rabbi Akiva. I think it's Rabbi Akiva that said, a person. What happens if a person only has enough money to make a Shabbos meal, to make Shabbos meals the same as his weekday meals? He doesn't have any more money to buy something special for Shabbos. But he's got the option of begging. So should he go and beg for money in order to buy something special for Shabbos? Or should he, no, he can survive, he can eat what he usually has during the weekday. What do you think? So Rabbi Akiva says, no, you should make the language used is make your Shabbos like a weekday rather than go and beg. So it's really, in terms of the Jewish mindset, in terms of the Talmud, begging is never looked at as as anything but, quite derogatory.
I hear what you're saying.
So it's a shame. Yeah, people should work. But, I think what's important to note is that, there are successful people in this world. Some people are more successful than others, whatever it might be. And I think we are prone to look at them and they might be prone to look at themselves and say, okay, what were why are they successful? And at the end of the day, yes, there might be, some good things that they've done, some sensible things they've done, some maybe very clever things that they've done on the way to their success. But without the birchas Hashem, without the bracha from Hashem, nothing, right? That's what Kehelis says back here. That, there could be people much more intelligent and much better businessmen than, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. But they didn't get the birchas Hashem, right? They didn't get blessed. They weren't in the right time, at the right place, etc. So not such shochem, with humility and really internalizing this as a value in life, that that Hashem is the ultimate power and authority, means that all success is appreciated in the framework of understanding that there's a blessing of Hashem going on over there. In our own life, whatever success we have, we are prone to taking it, to claiming it ourselves.
Lost you.
We lost you there, Rabbi.
Yes, we lost you. You're gone. Pick up. You're back. Gone.
No.
You're not there. No, nobody.
I'm not, but I'm going to send him a message anyway.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello. Okay, I think I'm back.
You're back.
We can hear you now.
Yes.
Okay. What? Let me try share again.
We've lost your screen as well, yeah.
Okay. There we go. Okay. Let's do this one. Okay. We did that. Practices is glorifying and ascribing excessive power to money and authority to those who have it. Tradition says that this problem will be solved in the times of the Messiah. The following texts discuss the idolatry of power, right? Of power and money. Rav Nachman of Breslov says, when the Mashiach comes, is revealed, the lust for money will be eliminated. As it says, on that day, man will throw off his idols of silver and his idols of gold. And Voltaire said, do not think money everything.
Getting double their voice.
Yeah, I don't know. Someone put on their speaker or unmute.
Sorry, it was me again. I apologize.
Okay. I
had to just untangle my earphones.
Do not think money does everything, or you are going to end up doing everything for money. I love that.
Well, it does count. Does help.
So what advice does Voltaire give us? What priority should money play in our lives? How does this discussion relate to organizations that need to fundraise in order to fulfill their mission? How can a capitalistic society avoid falling into the trap of idolizing money?
Interesting one.
It's a tough one, that one.
Yeah, it is.
You were talking about idolatry on Tuesday, and this money does become an idolatrous type of thing. You worship it. You spend what 70%, 80% of your day working for it. Because we all think we work for companies, but we actually work for our salary. We don't work for the company itself. They just pay our salary.
Yeah, the question. Yeah, it's a good question. If you won the lottery,
Yes.
enough money that you'd never have to worry again for money in your life. So first of all, just remember, you'd start to worry about something else.
Yes,
You wouldn't
sure.
be cured of your worries. You'd worry about something else, for sure. But two, would you keep on doing the job you're doing?
Interesting.
I would.
You
I
would?
probably would.
I'd go crazy and bored if I didn't have a job during the day.
That's exactly.
No, but you could do something else. Would you want to do something maybe more meaningful?
Absolutely. I'd much rather go to Yeshiva,
Yeah.
but there's no real Yeshiva in Cape Town to go to. I'd have to make Aliyah.
I wouldn't go to Shiva, but I'd work. I'd work definitely.
Would
Do
you
something.
I'd love to learn
What's
every
this?
day if I could. Absolutely.
Really?
Oh no, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Dead serious.
Wow. Why don't you take a sabbatical?
Working in a family business, it's a little bit challenging.
Is it?
It is.
I know the boss. Should I speak to him?
So do I. So do I.
But no,
What do you think?
genuinely, I'd love to learn more. I'd love to be able to learn more and have the time to learn more.
I could never do it. I could never.
How could we become in our capitalistic societies less focused on money? You know, the Satmar Rav said a great thing. The Satmar Rav said there are many things more important than money, but it takes money to do all of them.
That's right. Right. Health.
Right? I mean,
That's it.
it's such in our world,
Yes.
money is such a necessity.
Absolutely.
How do we not idolize it? You know, look at it as the answer to all our problems. Maybe one way is to really think through and you know, just remind ourselves that people with a lot of money also have a lot of problems.
Exactly.
They're not that much better off. And they don't, I think in studies, I don't know, I don't like these study things because, you know, people start with all sorts of agendas or whatever, but I don't think, I think, if I recall, someone once told me that they did a study and it was actually like the middle class, upper middle class people that were the happiest. It was not the highest earners, and it was not the destitute, you know, the people that really struggle.
That makes sense because you accept and you're happy with your lot in
And
life.
they could earn a
Yes.
living and
You're gone again.
I mean, generally speaking, it's, you know, yeah, you could find exceptions everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're gone.
Okay.
Yes.
Gone
My
again?
voice. Yes. They come back now. You're coming back now. You're gone.
I can hear you.
Cold. I think I'm gonna say cold. There's a weather thing or something between America and
Can you hear me?
Now, yes.
Okay, good. Okay, the idolatry of and abuse of power. Scott Shea writes, unlike the imagined gods that idolatry draws on to justify the subjugation of populations, the one true God expresses power through justice. He demands that we humans follow suit. The Rambam wrote, the leadership would entice the uneducated masses and convince them that the success of the country was to these idols and their service. In this way, the masses would honor the leadership because they understood the mystery of the idols. And in this way, the leadership maintained control and governed. You know, so the power of the church, right? Power of the rabbis. Let's say in Psalms, but not your trust in princes or in mortal man. Cannot save. His breath departs, he returns to the earth on that day, and his plans come to an end. Happy is he whose help is the God of Jacob, whose hope is the Lord his God. From a historical perspective, what ideologies have leaders used to control and harm their nations and others? What makes an idolatrous leader? And what are the main idolatries of the world today?
That's a heavy one.
I haven't been able to hear half of it. I'll have to listen to the recording.
I think we're all listening on a device that is our idolatrous draw
Yes.
today. I miss the 90s, showing my age here, I suppose, where you didn't have cell phones.
Hello?
And, can you hear us?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
No,
Yes.
I hardly heard you. Very, very bad. It's coming through very bad tonight.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm on my phone. I'm sorry.
I
Okay.
have to listen,
I mean,
I'll listen to
kids,
your
I
recording.
was saying that the cell phones are the idolatrous, the biggest draw today. I mean,
Interesting.
I remember when I was a kid. I remember when I was a kid. If somebody wasn't home, you couldn't get a hold of them.
Yes,
You weren't
that's right.
beholden. You walked
Yes,
everywhere, or
yes.
you rode on your bike. It wasn't Uber this and entitlement that.
No, this is BBS working against us.
The freedom, BDS, the freedom we had when we were youth, because technology wasn't there, the kids today don't have.
Yes,
They don't know what life was like without the technology, and
yes.
I don't know, for me, it's a sad reality for my kids.
What do you think they are missing out on?
Freedom, true freedom, knowing what it's like to
Really?
be untethered.
Do you think that
No,
the
look,
cell phone
I
actually
mean,
gives you more options? It gives you power,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
I know.
Do you think?
I used to pride myself on the fact that I knew sea points in other areas without having to have a map or Google Maps. Who these days knows their actual area of the city? You rely so heavily on that technology.
That's
You don't
another
know
story.
where you're going anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry, I might be a little bit old-fashioned for my 40 years.
Yeah, you're very, Greg. I'm surprised.
Greg, yeah.
So, okay.
That's better. It's better now. It's okay now. It's coming through clear now.
Yeah, I think someone's trying to. Was
I'm
trying
telling you, it's
to.
BDS is BDS, Rabbi.
I guess this question of is technology, does technology approach idolatry? I guess it's the same question, meaning, are we looking to technology to do what God does? Are we giving technology the the power? Are we ascribing the power to technology that is beyond it? Maybe I think I wouldn't know if it's idolatry, but you have a teenager that has to get the new iPhone,
Yes.
and that's going to make them happy because nothing else will make them happy. I'm not sure to call that idolatry because I'm not
I'm
sure
not.
they look.
I'm not referring to that as an idolatry. I'm referring to the fact that people will queue outside the store for days before to get the latest device. They will
Quite right. Quite right.
worship that device.
That's an addiction.
I mean, if you look at it, it's people, and I'm going to say it deliberately like this: people covet that
Right.
device.
Yes, that's quite
So
right.
isn't that idolatry to a
So
degree as
sorry, I
well?
missed you. Say it again.
I'm saying people will queue outside the stores for hours and days before to make sure that they are the first to get the device.
Okay.
And
No,
and people covet those kind of things.
But well,
They
let me
worship
ask you
it. They
something.
full on
If
worship
that
it.
what because what do they think? What do they think it's going to do for them?
Makes them happy.
it's
Make them
addiction.
happy.
Well, they think
I
it'll
think
make them
that's.
happy at least.
I think it's addiction.
See, I don't see. I understand there's a problem, but I don't see the connection to idolatry.
No.
Is it idolatrous? Are they somehow usurping God in their lives? Um,
No.
It's a very
Can't be.
interesting comment that the Gemara makes. The Gemara says that that if a person becomes addicted to something,
There you go.
it's like an idol. It's
Well, there
like
you go.
idolatry. And I guess the thing is that once you're addicted, that's it. That's where you find your fulfillment.
But it
And
can't be idolatry to God. It can't be. It's not impossible. It's impossible. I don't think so.
but no, I'm saying that the problem maybe with idolatry is if people become addicted, so then they definitely are usurping God because their addiction tells them, and they're really telling themselves that their ultimate fulfillment is dependent on their phone, is dependent
So,
on a drug, is
So
dependent on sex or on alcohol.
can
And
I ask a
that's
question?
addiction.
that's really what we're saying is that, what
That can't be idolatry.
anything, thinking that your ultimate fulfillment could come from anywhere besides God, or aligned to God, let's say, would be
Do you think
idolatry.
so? No,
But wasn't idolatry also? Sorry, Barry, go for it.
my idolatry, my idea of idolatry is admiring other gods, not only one God. We only have one God, and that's the one we're supposed
Yeah, of
to.
course.
Not idolatry. It's God. Idolatry is for me against any other God. In other words,
But
if
there
Yeah,
is no
but
other
what is
God
it?
for us besides the one
What is
God.
another
Therefore,
God?
they've turned cell phones into gods. So that's what I'm saying.
I
Yeah,
see. All
because
right. Well, I don't know. I think it's a bit difficult to say that.
well, it
I don't
depends,
know.
But
Barry.
Barry,
If
remember
it
this:
becomes
there
something,
is no other God besides our God. There is no other God besides Hashem. Therefore,
Yes,
anything
that's
that's
right.
worshipped besides Hashem is converted into a godlike being by that person's personal belief. I'm
right,
not saying
if
either
they
these
are
cell phones
looking
are
to that
idolatry. What I'm
thing,
saying is people idolize it. They look to it for their pleasure. They, if I may say it,
yeah,
what
of
was
course,
idolatry's main goal was to draw you away from Hashem. And what are cell phones doing today? They're drawing a lot of religious youth who are so addicted to their cell phones away from the Shabbos,
yeah,
away from the holiness of Hashem, to the point that they've had to create apps and devices that switches the phone into backwards and forwards and everything else, so that
Yes.
the religious community in certain
Maybe
areas can create a sort of justification for using it. I mean, that is.
maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I don't know. What do you think, Rabbi?
yeah. I think that is the. I think that the issue when someone becomes dependent on their technology, right? When they can't see themselves being fulfilled or having, being happy, or it becomes like an addiction, and then
Yeah.
that for sure is you know, that's the role Hashem is meant to play in our life. You know, we're meant to say, you know, without Hashem, then I would have no fulfillment. I couldn't live.
That's right.
I won't
I
be
mean,
happy. But with Hashem, whatever comes, with the phone, without the phone, it doesn't matter.
yes.
So,
But
so
that's like,
that's when it would become an issue, you know, and that's why this is such a relevant. Actually, starts off by being such an irrelevant commandment,
yes,
right?
interesting.
People don't have idols today. Little you know, things that they bow down to. But
Oh, you're gone. You're gone. Rabbi, you're gone. Can anybody hear me? Hey.
I can hear you, Barry. Don't worry.
Okay, so the
Beryl and
rabbi has
Marcus
gone.
have still muted
Yeah,
themselves.
Barry.
we might
Okay,
not
he's back.
a sense of who Hashem is, His role in our life.
Here he
So
goes.
I'm with you.
Are you
Hello?
back now?
Yeah.
No, yes, now you're back. We missed off with that.
No, I'm just saying. Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Yes. Yeah,
I'm
can
just
you?
saying that, you know, idolatry. When you think about it, you'd say, well, it's not very relevant. But when you get to understand what it is, what's driving the idol worshiper, we can see that in our lives also we are very much driven by the same things, and we have to be very careful that we don't fall into the same traps, whether it be money, whether it be technology and phones, whether it be alcohol, sex, drugs, you know, TV, Netflix, you name it. You know, anything could become your idol.
Yes.
When it in some way
You're gone.
We lost the no sound.
wait, hello?
On the
Okay,
most
hello?
important part.
Hello?
Hear you now. We hear you now.
Where
We got you,
did you
Rabbi, we
lose
got
me?
you.
I think
I
you
don't know.
got me, right?
Got you
Okay.
now.
I think, you know what?
Hey.
I think we